Here I am, Leon C, aka Morpheus. You are now listening to the Academy of Wow Men. And here today, I have a wonderful lesson for you. You see the title? It might be somewhat triggering, but it's a very important topic. So I've been gone for a while, and I apologize. I know, I get it. It's been a while, but I've been doing a lot of studying and a lot of traveling. I've been talking to multiple people. Silence, please. Silence. Ladies and gentlemen, calm down. And in the meantime, I've been doing some documentary, meaning I've been watching documents. I've been studying this thing about the man, about men. I've been going over several videos, several documentations on guys in the prison and what goes on in there. You say, what's the reason? Does that make up the title? No, not necessarily. I'm gonna go ahead and give you my disclaimer. I support men. No matter how you think or what you feel, I don't give a about your feelings anyway. This ain't about your feelings. This is about facts. This is not misandry. It is not misogyny towards women. This isn't against religion, culture, your identity. I don't give a shit about who you are or what you think. Okay? I'm discussing a very important matter that sometimes we don't understand. And it came by way of a gentleman who said this, and I'm not going to give you their name, but there's an influential gentleman on the internet, on social media. I'm not going to give him any clout. And he said that, let's see if I can get this together. He said, in a man's life, now you would think it makes sense. Sweetheart, can you get that computer together? It looked like it's acting a little bit funny there. Yeah, over there. You got it, sweetie. You're the best. Anyhow, back to the show. He said this, and it sounds good, but a lot of you need to understand something. See, I did my research, and I did my documentations and visitations and things like that, okay? Now, this is what he said, okay? He said that in every, just about, not every, but just about every man's life, okay, he's going to be tested. And if this guy walks around and he says he's the biggest and the baddest wolf in the forest, or he's a alpha male, or he is the toughest, there will come a time where he will be tested. Now, I want you to underline what I just said. I want you to highlight that. However you want to save it, put it in your dumb phone, write it down, think about it, or hold on to it, because this is what's going to matter here. And this is a man on the internet. This is what I would say a handful of men think. They would say, be careful what comes out of your mouth because you might be tested, right? Now, again, it sounds good. Sound is one thing. Just like a logical conversation or a conversation about the weather or whatever else. It sounds good. But this is what you must understand, ladies and gentlemen. There is a high IQ individual. There is a common IQ individual. Then there's a low IQ individual. Just like when you have a conversation with an intellectual or someone who's really smart, they look at life a little differently versus your common person who would just say hello in the morning and how are you doing? Okay? But the majority of men that I know of and have documented and have seen, they will completely gloss over that and say, yeah, that's true. I don't walk around and beat on my chest because there will come a day where I will be challenged. But here's the reality of it, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I want you to understand in this clown world. The problem with the majority in the dating circle and the way the westernized world is operating on. Listen carefully. Yes, we have this another pandemic of OnlyFans. Yes, we have another pandemic of all the extended and you could say unnecessary promiscuity and sexual displays that are on the internet and multiple, you could say, servers in your world today that is actually destroying the dating circle, the dating potentials and all the dating sites, etc., etc. I'm not going to get into it. It's basically social media that has destroyed, or you could say that has been a tool that have destroyed the dating potentials, especially in America. But however, behind it, there's a man, meaning a man who's buying, because who buys the OnlyFans? The majority of it is men. Who buys into the pornography? Men do, generally. There is some women, but they're just the exception to the rule. That's just, you could say 12% out of 100. Really doesn't matter. We're talking about the majority. If you don't know what the majority is, you're in the wrong channel. I don't deal with ignorance or the lack of your education. Okay? But here it is right here. I've understood and I've seen something that makes sense. That in the prison cells, in most disputes or battles, there's a thing called respect and definitely honor. When you disrespect a man, is for a man, that's a call to arms. That's a go-to situation. That is the end of your relationship. When you disrespect a man, you are considering that man to be your enemy, and they no longer need to deal with you, because respect is hard to earn. And when it's lost, it's hard to gain back. So therefore, when you keep a honorable and loyal relationship from man to man, it must be maintained. When you cross that bridge, or when you backstab a man, or when you double cross him and you dishonor him and disrespect him, you are pretty much somebody, and I'm just going to try to keep this as PG as possible. You're making yourself a target where you're liable and to be eliminated in one form or another. And this is something that was a little bit more serious before the common generations today, are the new sort of backward culture of manhood in this new generation. So I bundled all this up to two men meeting each other. And we have a misunderstanding what an alpha is. You know, everybody has their understanding, just like love. Everybody thinks love is different. We're in a confused time where you hear people on the internet telling you what is, but then, you know, in the actual world or in the ideas of other people, they're going to give you, again, a variety of definitions. But let me give you something that I understand and what I see it to be. I didn't say think, I said see it, know it, see it to be. Is when you look at the definition of alpha or archetype, when you look at the definition or the understanding of leader or boss or the one that sticks out the furthest, I'm just throwing things at you right now. The tallest, more prominent, more punctual, more valuable, more, you could say, more influential skyscraper, okay, that is always going to be a go-to place amongst other skyscrapers. All right. Now, typically, I know a skyscraper isn't particularly a man, but look at it as such, as a prominent, taller, bigger, more influential business building that a lot of the infrastructure are businesses, or you could say meetings, and the congregation will commute to and from. And without this building, the other buildings really do not hold up as sufficient or as enough. Or you could say every decision that is done in this building will affect the rest of the buildings. Okay, that's sort of like an idea of alpha or leader or boss. And also, not only is that position, you could say, let's get this back over to the human sense of thing, an alpha archetype type of person or man, okay, is not only in that position, but he also has the potential to be, again, going back to a leadership. And in leadership, there's a thing called boundary and limits of things that you would do and what you will not do. Let me give you an example, okay? Again, another example. Just imagine, and I don't condone this. I'm just giving an example for your mind. Imagine a grown adult, a male age 32, fighting a 6-year-old boy. All right, and I'm not talking about a tall 6-year-old boy who's 6 foot tall. He's overgrown and he got some type of growth spurt. No, I'm talking about a typical 6-year-old boy who's probably in, I don't know, what's that, 2nd, 3rd grade? I could be wrong. What, 3rd, 4th grade, something like that. And the 32-year-old has experience. He has fighting experience. He's a martial artist. You know, he's very strong. He's capable. And he knows a lot. And he has the potential to lead this boy. Okay? So, and of course, most people will go to the 32-year-old guy because he's, again, adult. He knows things and he's more capable. Hold on for a second. Sweetheart, can you move that wind visor because I'm getting very hot here. Yep. Yeah, have her grab our, I can't say it. Have her grab our tea out of the refrigerator, please. And have her tell her she don't have to, she can sit right here. It's okay. All right, hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on here. All right, it's just a little bit louder now. I apologize for that. You know, when I get to talking out here on this porch, it can get kind of, the temperature. I told you I'm always outside in nature, and you can probably hear a lot of stuff in the background, the wind blowing, which is fine. I'm a real person, not an AI. Anyhow, so that man is considered as, he's in a leadership position, and he can be a boss type of person. Now, if the 6-year-old boy get in the 32-year-old man's face and want to combat against him or fight against him or test him, for example, you're not a boss, you're not alpha, you're not this and that, it will behoove that 32-year-old guy not to be goaded into it, because that's dealing with the immature child, basically a 6-year-old boy who do not know what you know. So therefore, that guy who is 32, he is responsible for holding back. He's responsible for refraining. Even if the 6-year-old boy kicks him in the knee, the 6-year-old boy might pick up something and throw it at him. And I don't condone this, again. It's just for the sake of giving you a dramatic effect. Even if the 6-year-old boy went to go grab something like a weapon that can hurt the 32-year-old guy. The 32-year-old guy should understand how to, he can overpower the 6-year-old boy. You know, he can just grab the blade or kick the gun, or, you know, just not necessarily kick it, but grab it in a certain way that is safe for the both of them, where he'll get rid of, again, the threat of violence and or death, to keep the both of them safe. You understand what I mean? Because he's capable of it. Now, nowhere in between the both of them should this 32-year-old guy need to prove to this 6-year-old boy that he is an adult or the authoritative figure, or he is capable of complete damage. And I'm going to tell you why. Now, let's just turn this up just a little bit more so you can pretty much understand what I'm saying. He don't need to. Because here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. If the 6-year-old boy gets in this 32-year-old guy's face, who's well-trained, probably have some military background or whatever else, and he says, you're not an alpha, you're not the boss of me, you're not this and that, prove yourself that you're stronger than me. The 6-year-old boy would not want that. Again, I'm not condoning violence. We're just having a discussion here, okay? Listen, if the 32-year-old guy thinks that he needs to prove himself and backhand that child, okay, that might be the end. Meaning, that's a place of no return. There is consequences, extreme consequences. There's jail time, maybe prison time, or that 6-year-old kid may not get back up. Because you're talking about a 32-year-old guy who is honed into his testosterone. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's capable. He has the potential of doing damage. Therefore, with common sense, with great power comes responsibility. With great power comes responsibility. With great power comes responsibility and self-control and self-restraint. So therefore, he, the 32-year-old man, has the ability or the knowledge and the know-how to walk away because it's not worth it. This is why you would never see, and I don't know anything about it, but you would never see a UFC fight between a 32-year-old and a 6-year-old kid. You won't see it unless it's for fun or he's training that 6-year-old boy to be a martial artist, but he's not going to go all in. You understand? He's not going to just wail at the boy and teach that boy a lesson and show off in front of the world. And as a matter of fact, even if he beats the 6-year-old kid, he's not going to be confident, or you could say the word feel, or look, or seem to be a good champion, because he really did not compete against someone at his level or greater. He competed against someone who's lesser than him. So him standing in the ring with a golden belt dangling above his head because he beat someone who's lesser than him is not a challenge. That's a coward. It's dumb. It's senseless. You won't see it. And most people understand that 6-year-old boy is punching way above his abilities and his life experiences versus a 32-year-old punching way below his potential and his capabilities. Now, keep that in mind of what I just said. And I don't want to put myself in it, and I don't want to make anything personal. But I will tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, that a lot of men, I'll put it like this, don't understand, they themselves don't understand true violence. When you hear a guy say, one of these days you're going to be tested, understand this. Most people are men who are in prison, and once they get in prison, they have a thing called, again, respect. If you disrespect them, that guy, here it is, and this is their words, not mine, will feel as if he has to prove his standing, to prove his worth, to prove that he is the alpha dog. And when they have to prove themselves, listen, men do violence. When men prove that they are better than the next man, most times, listen, it's through violence. Because a lot of times, and I'm not saying most of them, a lot of men don't have thinking capacity. We're around a whole lot of sips. We got a whole lot of blue pill betas, you understand, who are raised up feminized. So most in those circles of, I could say boys, but you say men, let's just say grown adults, they don't really understand their own potential of damage or the damage that another real man can do to them. So usually a man of responsibility, or a man with power, a man with authority, an alpha dog guy, the man who can slap you with one hand and put you to sleep, he's not going to do it. He's going to go the other direction, ladies and gentlemen. The other direction. When you hear a guy say, well, you're going to be tested one of these days, you don't want that test because it's the end of someone's life. Do you understand? There's no coming back from, it's like this. I want to make sure that there is a bullet in the chamber. Let's test to see if there's a bullet in the chamber. So hold it up right here against my chest, because I want to see if there's one in it. That's how dumb it is. That's what I mean. This is what I'm talking about. I know the technicality of, pulling out the chamber. You can, clock it backwards and look underneath it where the magazine goes inside to make sure. I know. We're not going to that. I'm talking about specifically when another man do not understand the damage that another man can do to them. And they stand there and say, you got to prove yourself. Prove yourself. You ain't nobody. You just a punk. You ain't nobody. You're not the boss. You ain't no alpha. Listen, if that alpha dude has to prove himself, you will not be waking up. You're not coming back from it. So he doesn't need to prove himself. He's going to go the opposite direction. You're going to think that he's a weakling. You're going to think that he's a punk. You're going to think that he's a coward. You're going to think that he lost the battle. You're going to think that he's soft. You are going to think that he's afraid. You're going to think that he cannot prove himself. You don't understand. Listen what I tell you. He does not want to, because that's like bringing a grenade to a knife fight. Do you understand? And with his responsibility, with his leadership and power, he knows his strength. Therefore, he will refrain. He will restrain himself. He will laugh at it. He will laugh at you. He will walk away. I said this before in one of my audios. I don't think y'all probably remember it. And again, I'm not getting too personal. But this will highlight what I said before. I run. I'm a runner, meaning I'm not going to stand there and prove myself. I'm going to run. I'm going to walk away. I'm going to walk away as fast as possible. I'm going to run away as far as possible, because I'm not running away from you. I'm running away from myself. I'm not going to sit there and engage with a chest bump. I'm not going to raise my voice. I'm not going to put my hands on you. I'm not going to prove myself. There's no need to, because that is a place of no return. And it's a form of immaturity. You just don't deal with those type of people. You just walk away as a man and just laugh at him and say, okay, that's nice, kid. Ha 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 ha. You have a nice day. Oh, you this and that. You mother... You ain't nobody. You ain't nobody. You suck. You this and that. No. No, sir. I'm going to walk away. I'm going to run away. I'm going to leave you standing there. I'm going to go as far as possible. I'm not trying to get away from you. I'm trying to get away from myself. Because if I stand there a second longer, the next thing everybody else is going to hear is this. That's right. That's right. That's the next thing you're going to hear in your ears, and everybody else is. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It really isn't. It's not worth it. See, men don't, and that's the thing why you see the title right there. That's why I made this title. Most men are stupid because they don't even understand their own damages. See, the prison is full of morons. Do you understand? The prison is full of guys who do not know and did not know how to control their emotions. The prison is full of men who thought they had something to prove. And as soon as they found out what they could do or what that other person can do, they're standing there, or their freedom is taken from them. Do you understand? They are no longer capable of being out here in the free world. They're not standing among you. Some of them have 12 years. Some of them have life sentences. Some of them have 2 life sentences. Some of them have 20 years, 70 years, 80 years. Some of them are in there for a year, depending on what it is. And none of those times are worth you standing there trying to prove to somebody how much of an alpha that you are. You understand what I mean? So all this is the lesson today, ladies and gentlemen. And this is what I want to give you, especially some of you men. Do not listen to what everybody tell you on the goddamn internet. Do not listen to a lot of these bozo clown men. Do not let them put you in a corner. and tell you who you are as a man, because you don't need to prove that. Because if you prove that, you're going to find yourself in a situation you cannot return from. You cannot return from. No, I do not have a everything I described, okay? I do not have a personal situation where a man got in my face and said, "Oh, LCM, you think you're an alpha, prove yourself." I did not, and I'm glad I have not. All right? But in every other situation, it has been verbal, it has been by conversation. Excuse me. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. It's been by notary or email or text or something like that, but never to my face. All right. And again, it should never be. That's cool. It should never be in my face. It should not. Okay. But in any form whatsoever, especially by paper or documentation or whatever else, when it comes to being the alpha dog, it's more than just a status. It's more than just being a leader. It's being responsible for yourself and the outcome of the situation. Let me say that again. Let me say that again. It's more than just his self. It is the responsibility of the situation, and it is the responsibility of the outcome of the situation. The outcome of the situation. Do I have to repeat myself again? The outcome. If the outcome means you're 6 feet under, okay, somebody lost control, or somebody has something to prove, somebody got emotional, somebody got out of place, somebody got out of pocket, that is not the outcome that a true, you could still be an alpha and do something like that, but I would say a good leader. How about that? That is not the outcome a good leader wants to have. A good leader, a good boss, a good alpha wants a good outcome where everybody walks away alive. Everybody walks away to go home to their children. Nobody's in prison. You know, the least, or you say the most that you would get out of a situation is a verbal confrontation, which is okay. That it's not good, but it's better than complete outright violence. Okay? And I do know these things distinctly. I talk to people, I speak with them, I go around the world. I told you from the documentation and conversation with many people, this is the absolute fact. So just because you may hear these clowns on the internet tell you, well, you better be careful, my guy, because one of these days you're going to be tested if you say you're the strongest man in the world. Are you a boss? Are you a, what's that women used to always say? Can't think of the word. But that's okay, I can't find it. Anyhow, that you think that you are a warrior of some type, okay? Don't fret it, don't worry about it, because you have nothing to prove. I implore you not to. Okay? Those are men who just, first of all, they don't know what they're talking about. And second of all, those ignorant guys aren't understanding. If something comes out of your mouth, you're going to have to explain yourself. It's easy to say, well, be careful, somebody's going to test you one of these days. It's easy to say that. But what is it that you have to be careful of when you understand if a person's going to test you, you don't need to be tested that way, and you shouldn't play that game where you're going to walk away. They can test you all you want to. They can stand there in the classroom with a piece of paper that's going to be blank. You will be absent, because those are the tests that men should not play. And that's why a lot of these men nowadays are responsible. And I'm not going to get into dating. I'm just going to say they're responsible for a lot of things that are going on in this dead country. They are mostly the simps. They're the ones buying into OnlyFans. They're the ones that are just picking, pumping, and dumping sort of thing. They're the ones who have low quality, low standards. If that wasn't true, a lot of these women wouldn't be walking around with the high hubris and such pride and such expectation, because men put them in that bracket, because they don't even understand their own value, let alone what type of leadership that they have. Imagine them getting into a scuffle with each other. Out of 10 people, there's going to be one alpha guy that you do not want to come across, and he's going to be the most quietest, and he's going to be the one to walk away. Just don't be that dumb one to try to tap him on his shoulder so he can prove himself, because you may not come back from that. Watch what you listen. Watch what you watch. Listen to what you listen to, and do not be goaded by these dum-dums that you hear on a constant basis on the internet, because a lot of them, they have not met reality. A lot of them, they don't even know what it feels like to be popped on top of the head, or to be picked up clear off of their feet and landed down where all the air escapes from their lungs. They talk the talk, but they're the ones who can't walk the walk. But if they were, they would not allow such foolishness to come out of their mouth. There are some things that you do. There's places and there's lines you don't cross with men. There's disrespects that you do not say or do to men. You understand? And most men who understand what violence is and the potential that they can do to somebody, they're not even going to go there. They're not even going to put themselves in that situation to need to toggle that self-destruct system. You understand what I mean? Everybody has a definition of what they think love is. Alpha, life, church, heaven, hell. Y'all a bunch of dumb, confused human beings. Ridiculous. That's why aliens have kept silent for such a long time, because they don't want to get involved with such low IQ species. Y'all need to start using your head and start thinking. Stop being dumb. Start being smart. That's the lesson for the day, ladies and gentlemen. There's more to come, and I enjoyed myself. And you have a nice day, and I have a lot of other things. I don't apologize for being gone, but I was gone. But I'm here now. And I'll see you next time. And enjoy yourself, as I will constantly find information to give to you.